What is good, YouTube, guys and girls and people of unspecified gender? My name is Billy Shadowthorn, and I'm back with another Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire OU Wi-Fi battle against JustWeavile. I'm feeling a lot better, so I've decided to record. My mouth is more or less healed from getting my wisdom teeth pulled. I was actually surprised on how well my recovery went, but it turns out that not all good things it's not all good, because I got an infection on the top tooth. I got my lower left and upper right wisdom teeth removed, and the upper right, turns out I got an infection on it, and the doctors were all scratching their heads because they're like we never get an infection on the top one, you're like special in that case. I was like, gee, thanks. So on an antibiotic, but enough about that. You didn't come here to hear about my wisdom teeth, you came here to see a Pokemon game. So turn one, I lead off with Venomoth and I make a bit of an over prediction. I expect him to double out into his Tangrowth, expecting me to go for the Sleep Powder. So I go for a Bug Buzz because I know that if he's AV, it'll do 50%. If he's not AV, it will OHKO. So, as it is, it does nice chunk of damage because I'm Tinted Lens. I just genned a bunch of new mons, and Venomoth was one of them, because Venomoth is just one of those mons where you're like, you don't really see a lot of, and I thought it'd be cool. To use, so go for a Sleep Powder on this. Unfortunately, I missed, so I see right off the bat it's gonna be that sort of game. And my Venomoth goes down. It was named the Flame because you put moths to a flame, kind of. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch on the nickname, a little bit of a stretch, but some people will get it, some people won't. He is going to go out into this Tangrowth now, and I'm just gonna Mega Evolve because I haven't used this team I built. It was a standard team, and that I tore it apart because I was playing JustWeavile, and I was like, every time I bring him, I can't bring a serious team. I don't know why. It's terrible. I hit a Mega Lopunny on it, but for some strange reason I can't use Mega Lopunny anymore. So I changed it to Mega Metagross at the last minute because Mega Metagross is cool, and Mega Lopunny isn't. But right there, he misses his Sleep Powder, so a little bit of justice in the world. Like, there's very little justice when it comes to Pokemon, but that was like one of the perfect justices. Like, we both miss a Sleep Powder. Like, that's fine. Let's keep hacks like that. Let's just keep hacks like that, and I'd be so much happier. So I click Heat Wave, just on the off chance he wanted to stay in, predict me to like go for like a Defog or a Toxic. I don't know, like whatever defensive Zapdoses do. But he doesn't, so I'm gonna go into just chillin', my Avalugg to take whatever move he wants to go for. I was half predicting him to go for a Stone Edge, and then I'd switch into like, I don't even know, something to handle this. This T-Tar is actually just like destroys my entire team, because my entire team is like so weak to rocks, it's not even funny. But whatever, I take the Crunch. Might probably is banded damage because I'm like max defense Avalugg or something like that, I don't know. But goes into Steamy, which is so risky. I was like so close to clicking EQ. I was like, no, if I clicked EQ, I would be in such a good position right now. But I didn't, because I'm bad, and I didn't think he'd make that play. I thought he'd go into Rotom, and I didn't want to reveal EQ, and I figured like the little chip damage on Avalugg would be better. Or a little chip damage on Rotom is better. Then I get to see like if he's leftovers, a choice item, what. But anyways, gonna pull a switch because I don't feel like getting loasted by a Fire Blast. So I go into Infections, which is the best thing that I have to counter this thing. Goes for a Steam Eruption, that's fine. Same principle. Eat it up like it's absolutely nothing. And he doesn't get a burn. Doesn't get a burn, which is nice. Nice RNG in my favor. 30% chance. Not a decently high chance, but not a decently low chance either. So that's that. Gonna reveal now. Gonna swap out Steamin' for the Adorabolt, the Rotom Wash, and I'm like, okay. Gonna click Poison Jab because I knew the switch out was coming. I didn't know. I kind of figured Rotom Wash was coming, but I didn't want to presume anything. And now right here, I revealed Poison Jab, so I was half predicting him to go for a Willow right here. The other half of me is predicting him to Volt Switch. So I wasn't quite sure which one he wanted to do. In the end, I went with the assumption that he was going to click Will-O-Wisp, so I go into Dank Toss to take it. Unfortunately, I get that prediction wrong as he just clicks Volt Switch and Volt Switches out. That's fine. Even though I am an offensive Zapdos, I still take that relatively nicely. And then he brings into the nice solid counter to my Zapdos, which is this T-Tar, which this T-Tar is getting a little bit of annoyance on me. Little bit of an annoyance. So I'm forced out because I feel like Zapdos is worth saving, and I'm gonna go back out into Just Chillin' because it handled it pretty well last time. Unfortunately, it can't take the Stone Edge, and it just dies. It just gets plopped. You just get plopped. So that's that. So I go into 2 black, 2 Kyurem, because I thought this was my sub Kyurem, sub Roost Kyurem, and I'd be able to do some cheeky maneuvers with that. Unfortunately, it isn't, and so I just go for an Earth Power, because I know an Earth Power is not going to be doing too much damage to it. It does a nice chunk, not enough to OHKO it, but a nice chunk, so I'm just like, Stone Miss! Stone Miss! But Stone Miss doesn't happen, and I just die off. So this Kyurem Black is definitely destroying my team enough to the point where I'm like, okay, Silverback, you're here. It's time to just destroy this man's soul with a Meteor Mash, which is exactly what happens. He does decide to let this thing drop, which is fantastic. I get an attack raise with Meteor Mash, which actually surprisingly ends up not mattering. Well, it kind of matters. We'll see. Goes into Edward. I'm able to get off a nice powerful Zen Headbutt. Does like absolutely 0 damage. Would have done a little less without the attack raise, so, but does something. And he ends up U-turning out, gets a crit on it, so that's fine. Like, that crit actually doesn't end up mattering because he's bringing in Spaghetti right here. And I'm thinking to myself, it's Rocky Helmet. I already saw Rocky Helmet before. I could try for a Zen Headbutt flinch, but I'm at +1. I'm just going to explode on this thing because Explosion is actually Tough Claws boosted. So I'm thinking to myself, Explosion, +1, Metagross, kill. Oh, it doesn't kill. I was so upset when that didn't kill. But I'm like, alright, fine, whatever. Bring back in Dankdos. Gonna click Volt Switch because I know he's going to switch. He didn't switch out. Oh, if that thing lived. If that thing would have lived, I'd have been so upset. That probably would have been game, like, right there if that thing would have lived. But fortunately for me, Specs Zapdos is able to pick up the KO because that's what Specs Zapdos does. So, goes into Twitch.tv, which is a play I wouldn't agree with. Gonna click the Tri Attack as I reveal Miracle right here, which is fantastic. I'm able to bring that thing down to, like, no HP. And then right here, I do predict him to switch out into something, which he does do. He switches out into a Dorbolt. So I'm able to catch that thing with a nice and powerful, I believe this is a crit poison. No, I lied. That it was not a crit poison. I go for another poison jab here. This one is a crit poison, I think. I go for another one here, predicting a Willow, as it is a critical hit and a poison. So Hax is leveling out right about now. Unfortunately, I'm getting like all my predictions wrong when it comes to this Rotom. I'm like, where is this Volt Switch? Why are you Volt Switching constantly? Like, where is your Will-O-Wisp? But I did get that necessary damage off on the Rotom Wash, which is fantastic. Now he's going to bring in Steaming. This here Volcanion, which I don't really know what to think about Volcanion. I was so excited for its release, and now that it's here, it's just like, really? Like, I haven't found a solid team with it yet, but I do live the first Steam Eruption, 10 HP, able to Miracle back a solid chunk of damage, and then I die off to the next Steam Eruption. It's fine. I didn't really expect to live one at 10 HP, and I got the necessary damage off, because this is important, because I'm down to my last Pokemon right now. I'm down to my Specs Zapdos, and it all comes down to this. Last game I played against JustWeavile, I got completely out. I got hacked that game. To be fair, I got hacked that game. But I was able to bring it around with Megalopunny. Or not Megalopunny, Megaladios. So I'm like, Zapdos, you gotta be the Megaladios of last game. Let's go. Gonna bring out Twitch. That thing's gonna drop to his a Thunderbolt because it's at like 0 HP. Able to kill off the Volcanion. Which I was actually kind of concerned about. I wasn't sure if I could kill it or not. Edward at the range of HP that it's at could be a roll as well if it's Spadef defensive. Like if it's bulky SD, it could live. He ends up BPing for a bit of damage and then static happens. Static actually doesn't end up mattering because I am able to kill. So Specs Zapdos is doing what it needs to do, turning the game around for me yet again. Nice and bad. Not really bad, just like, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know what that Rotom is though. I didn't see leftovers. Was it like Specs Rotom or something like that? Like Choice Rotom? I was about to say, like, is it Scarf Rotom? But no, it was it couldn't have been Scarf Rotom because my Zapdos outspeed it. But that was a pretty cool, fun game I had against JustWeavile. Be sure to check him out. His channel link will be down in the description below. He just hit about 300 subscribers not too long ago, so you know he makes prime content. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.